Yo. My name is Alana Greene. Welcome back to my channel. Or welcome to my channel if you're new. Hey. So, I've been super busy. And I've tried to film this video like 7 times. And every single time I fail. Because either it's too loud in my house, or somebody starts running water in the room above me, which sounds like a flood is occurring. And I just haven't been able to film it. So you know what? I'm like, okay, it's quiet. I'm just gonna do it right now, and I'm gonna film it while I'm driving. Okay, don't get mad. Don't get mad. I'm a really good multitasker. It's okay. The Lord's on my side, girl. I'm good. So a lot of you guys know that I was working at a dispensary, right? I started trying to get this job at the beginning of last summer. I saw the company had an article post in the local newspaper, so I hit up the company and I was like, I would love to get involved. Like, how can I get involved, right? So I was in contact with the company like all summer, and they were a startup, so I knew that it was going to be, you know, you didn't really know what was going to go on. Hold on, let me crank this heat because the girl is cold. It's literally 37 today, and it was like 50 yesterday. So I don't know what the weather's on, but I'm not feeling it. So when you are like when you crank that soldier, I mean you. So when you're working for a startup company, you just never know like what's gonna go on, when they're gonna start up, how it's all gonna go, because they're still getting all their shit together, right? You know what I mean? They're like creating a company. So all summer long, I was kind of just like in contact with them, still working my other job, still waiting to hear like what was going to go on, like when is a tentative startup date, like what's popping, right? They were supposed to get started in September. That fell through, which is like red flag number 1. Like, was definitely supposed to get started in September. I mean, I got stuff done. I traveled out to the location several times. I met with people. I filled out papers, the whole 9. Well, that ended up falling through, and then it was supposed to get started in November. Well, that ended up getting, you know, that did not work either. So there was like all these little red flags. Well, by the time it ended up getting started, to be completely 100 with you, I was so over it. I was like, this just is not going to work out for Alana. I know I'm not going to be here long. And I genuinely not only wrote that in my journal, but I also told people that. So as if like that wasn't enough to know that I wasn't going to be there long. There was only going to be 4 girls that were going to be working there in the dispensary. And so we were all working really closely with each other and had a really good relationship with each other. And, you know, because we've been working together for like a month and a half, like working to get this place started up and learning the system and all that. So we were trying to figure out how the schedules are going to go, right? And I don't want to work on Sundays. Preferably, I don't work on Sundays. And so I saw that it was, you know, a thing where I don't need to work on Sundays because we've got more than enough people who are willing, and I'll work Sunday, or I'll work every Saturday to compensate. So the girls were completely down with that. Like, yeah, they were cool with it, right? And I made sure of that because I wasn't about to be like, yo, like I'm not working Sundays before I made sure that it was straight with the other girls I was working with, right? Because that's just the kind of person I am. I care about you and what you want too, you know? So I made sure it was okay with everybody. And it was. So then my freaking manager pulls me in the office one day on this ego power trip, right? And this guy was one of these guys that tries to act really, really, really jolly and nice. And you know, there's like really, really, really nice people that are just too nice, where it's like, what's up, buddy? Like, why are you like that? Like, what's the deal? Well, he's one of them. And so this whole time I'm just kind of like, are you really that nice? Or are you trying to hide your ugly ass side up in there? Like, what's good with you? And I ended up being right about this guy because just listen to how he treated me, right? So he pulls me in the office on this power trip, and on this whole time he's been acting just so nice. I'm just such a nice guy, right? And he pulls me in there and he starts talking to me, and he's like being just such an ass, and he's like, yo, you know, Alana, I'm just not sure if this is gonna work out, this whole Sunday thing. And I'm like, well, that's pretty weird because everybody else seems to be okay with it except you. What's the problem? You know? And I'm not gonna lie. Like, when someone's coming at me and I can feel it and there is not a justified reason for you to come at me, I'm not gonna be nice. And so I looked at him and I was like, you know, what's the issue, sir? I'm willing to come here after I leave church if you desperately need me, but I go to church on Sundays and I'm willing to work other days. So I don't know what the issue is. No one else has a problem with it except you. Are you going to be covering on the weekends for us, or is there another issue that you have here that I don't understand? And he just choked on his words. He didn't really know what to say. And really where the issue comes into play is that I'm calling the shots on my own behalf, and he didn't like that I was calling the shots on my own behalf because he's the manager and he wants to call the shots, right? You know, I'm so sick of like this misogynist attitude with these little boys that have to stick their chest out and call the shots in order to preserve their ego. It's like, you are so pathetic. So we had a little bit of an issue there. And right then at that moment, I was like, oh, hell no, Elena, like, honey. And I already knew right then and there that we were going to have issues, okay? Because why did you need to be like that? What problem was it causing? He didn't even ask the other girls how they felt about it before he felt the need to call me into his office and act like a D-bag. Like, I just can't with you, sir. I really just can't. Nobody cared that I didn't want to work on Sundays. Like, nobody cared. And listen, if those girls would have had any problem with it at all, Elena would have been working on Sunday. Like, I don't care. It's not that big of a deal to me. But if I can have my Sunday, like, I'm going to take my Sunday. Do you feel me? That is my day of rest. That is my day of praise. And so if I don't have to work, I'm not going to. So that was like huge red flag number, like what, 5? Well, before that even happened, I forgot to say this. So this was like another red flag that happened. For some odd reason, my fingerprints wouldn't come back. So like they were waiting on my fingerprints to come back, which I needed in order to get my marijuana license. And if you didn't have the license, you couldn't start. Well, they weren't opened yet, so it really didn't matter. But I was still waiting on this license to come back, right? And my offer letter that I signed with the company, the language in the offer letter basically was like, your job offer is contingent upon you successfully getting this license. Well, the only reason the license was still in delay was because the Ohio Board of Pharmacy was so backed up. Like, there were so many people trying to open their dispensary, like, right at that moment. And everyone was trying to get their cards finalized. So everybody was trying to do it, and they were just backed up, right? I had everything I needed in. I paid my fee. My fingerprints were done, but we were waiting for them to come back. Waiting for the Ohio Board to get them, basically. My opinion is that they already had them, that they just hadn't processed everything yet because they were backed up. So there was physically nothing that I could do to speed up this process. So one day at work, the same douchebag pulls me in his office and he's like, Elena, you know, I know you're working so hard to get this license, but you know, if it doesn't come back here within 7 days, we're gonna have to put some kind of limit on it here, and you know, I'm gonna ask you that you sign this paper. And this paper that he was giving me to sign was basically saying that if my license didn't come back in a week, that they were gonna terminate my employment because of my license not coming back, which had nothing to do with me at all. And at that point, I'm thinking, like, do y'all not like me? Like, what's the issue here? Like, what's the issue? Like, you want me to leave? You could just ask. Like, we don't gotta play these games here. So, right then and there, I also knew. I was like, this is just, what are these people's problems? Like, who treats somebody like that? I was working so hard. Like, when I lived in Oregon, we had to work with the same program that we were using there. So I already knew the program for the most part. They've changed the interface and have updated it like a little bit since then. But for the most part, I remembered how to do the point of sale, how to do receipts, how to do a restock, like just how to do everything, right? And so I basically taught those other 3 girls how to do that entire system. Not only that, but was teaching them about the products and about the marijuana in general. Like, not to pat myself on the back, but I knew way more than them other girls did. So, low-key, what they did is they waited until I taught everybody how to do everything. right? Taught everyone how to do the system. And then they fired me. But wait, let me tell you why they fired me, because this is when the shit really gets good. Listen, I'm a good person, sometimes to a fault. And I just don't care, you know? And when I need to do something, Elena's gonna do it, and I just don't care, all right? So this is what happened. A cancer patient comes in, who I had sold to a couple other times. And he was in a lot of pain. And he asked me if I could get him any oil. Well, there was no oil available yet in Ohio. So I told him I couldn't get him any oil or tell him where to get any. And, you know, I just so happened to have my own oil on me, my own CBD oil, that was my own, that I bought with my own money, that was in my own pocket. Like, my own, all right? And so, you know, I mean, like, naturally, I'm going to give him some oil, right? So Elena gave him some oil, and they saw it on the camera. And I was super slick about it, too. Like, I really was. I gave him a hug. I slipped it in his pocket. But they knew. You know, they knew. And I really think that they were just waiting for, like, one small little thing. And so, yeah, they fired me over that. And it was like this whole thing, and they, you know what I mean, they were really lame about it, and like basically tried to act like I sold meth up in their building. And I'm like, you know what, y'all are fake, and I understand that you want to adhere by state law. I get that I did something illegal, but you know what, the way you're handling it is kind of gross to me, so you're doing me a favor. And I knew I wasn't going to be there long, so the whole thing was genuinely hilarious to me, because the minute I started sensing these vibes, I was like, Elena, you're not going to be here long. Like, these are not your folk. These are not your people. Like, these people are assholes. You have no business being around these people. Right? So, even, I mean, and forgive me for saying this, but even a couple of the girls that were working there, like, forgive me. I'm just going to call it like I see it. But they were just messy, okay? And when I'm working in close quarters with people like that, I don't want to work with messy people. I'm talking people that come to work that are talking about their drama and their life and their kids and their husbands and their baby daddies and their problems. And it's like, look, girl, I don't have time for all that. Like, I don't want none of that. So the job was just really annoying to me anyway. And it's like, it was better for me to get out of there now before I, you know, decided to walk out on my own. But there was one other situation that occurred that was absolutely hysterical that happened, right, between me and the guy, which I knew things were going to pop off between me and that guy eventually, and they did. But basically what happened was, we're at work one day, and the girl I was working with got sick, right, and she decides to go home. So she goes home, whatever, and I'm the only one there, but I wasn't going to be the one to close. So I wasn't supposed to close, and so someone needed to close. And I wasn't about to stay for 2 hours extra to close for these people. Like, not after they were being so lame to me. Like, no. When I'm being treated right, I'll bend over backwards for you, boo-boo. But when you are being shady to me, you being a douchebag to me, honey, I'm not doing a damn thing for you, all right? You do it yourself. So I'm like, I ain't staying to close, sorry. Like, I got stuff to do. Like, you can call someone else in. So the manager comes out and he goes, Elena, go ahead and call so-and-so to come into work. Now, first of all, that's not my job, all right? You're the manager. You call the employee and tell them to come into work. That's sending me into messy territory that I don't really appreciate. So I go ahead and do it, whatever. 10 minutes later, he tells me to call her back and tell her to cancel because the security guy can do it. Now, I'm thinking, the security guy has never done this part at all. And even though it's just a point of sale, there's a whole thing that we have to go through to be state compliant, and we have to like send this report after the point of sale. It's through a different system. It was a whole thing. He had never done it. It's not that I don't think he could have been taught, but not within 2 hours and then be there alone to do the whole thing and then close on top of that. So all I said to my manager was, do you want me to teach Jonathan the entire process? Like, I'm just trying to clarify what you want me to do, right? And he looks at me and he immediately was like, don't be so indignant. And at this point, I'm like, oh, hell no, he's not trying me. And I looked at him, I was like, Joe, I'm not being indignant. I was like, and the kid was standing there. I was like, I am perfectly sure that Jonathan could learn how to do this. I was like, but But he's never done it before, and I just don't want to leave him here without him being fully comfortable in something he's never done before, right? And he just continues to, like, I don't even really remember what he said, but I got hot. And, oh, no. What he responds is, he goes, lose the attitude. And I looked at him and I said, sir, I don't have to lose anything. First of all, I'm responding to you and asking you what you want me to do. So then I go to walk away because I'm pissed, right? Like, I'm going to go walk away. And, like, what the fuck? So I go to walk away. I'm literally going to McDonald's for my clients right now. And these people were literally just walking through the drive-thru, like, in the middle of the drive-thru road. Like, that's what that was just now. Like, no clue what those people were doing at all. Hold up, I need to order. So he says this to me, right? Lose the attitude. And I'm already annoyed, right? I'm like, I don't have an attitude. Like, when I say something matter-of-factly, it can sound like I have an attitude, but that's just who I am. All right, sometimes I'm not going to be all bubbly and happy, and, like, that's just who I am. Sometimes I'm going to say something matter-of-factly and ask a question, and I don't have an attitude, bro. Like, I'm just asking you a question. You feel me? Hold on. So at this point,
good morning. Can I have 2 egg McMuffins and 1 large coffee with 2 creams in it?
Is that all?
That's all for me, baby.
All right, $5.35.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So at this point, I'm hot because this motherfucker just, excuse my French, this guy just told me to lose my attitude. I'm sorry. Who do you think you're talking to? Because if I was a man and I had a dick and balls between my legs and I answered the question the way I answered it, there would be no attitude. It would have just been matter-of-factly the way I answered the question. I can't stand sometimes when you're a female, if you don't answer something all bubbly and happy and yes sir, no sir, people think you have an attitude. No, I don't. I'm just answering it the way I want to answer it. Like, fall off of me. So he made me real hot, right? So I walk away. Like, I'm just going to walk away. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to answer you. I'm just going to turn around and I'm going to go walk away, because if I don't, I need to go walk away, right? So I go and I walk away. So he starts running after me, right? Telling me to get back here to go to his office. Like he's the fucking principal or something. I was so livid, like, I almost walked out then, but I wasn't going to let him do that to me. So that happens, right? And, like, that whole night just, I don't even remember exactly what ended up happening. No, actually I do. I got really pissed, and I approached another one of the guys that worked there, because I felt like they would kind of take it seriously. And then they both pulled me in this office and were just, like, so condescending to me, and basically talking about just a bunch of stuff that, like, made no sense to me. Like, talking about, like, in the beginning when we were learning the system, like, that I was something about, like, asking too many questions. Like, I was asking people too many questions, and I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Okay, I want a large coffee.
Yeah, baby.
$5.35.
Okay, so there's 30. Let me give you 5 pennies. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You too, baby girl. So, talk about asking too many questions, right? That I was like driving everybody crazy. And at that point, I wanted to lose my mind because they could single-handedly thank me for learning that and teaching the other girls. I genuinely taught the other girls. The reason I was asking questions is because I wanted to be compliant. I wanted to make sure that what we were doing was state compliant. So literally asking questions, and I'm talking like just asking a question, like, what kind of people get mad at someone for asking a question is really all that I want to know. So I was hot.
2 egg and cheese muffins and a large coffee, 2 cream.
Thank you, my love. Have a blessed day.
You too.
Thank you. So, and I was like baffled too because they hadn't said anything to me at all. In fact, they were thanking me the whole time we were getting started up because I was helping them so much. So now all of a sudden y'all are bothered because I was asking questions? Like, I'm so confused. It was so petty. Like, it was almost like they were just trying to think of something to say to me to piss me off. Like, it was almost like they were trying to piss me off to get me to leave. So I was like, I'm not going to let them do that to me right now. I'm not going to let them do what they're trying to do, which was like really pissed me off, I felt like. And mind you, there was no record of this, nobody writing this down. There was no like verbal warning. Like, if this was all such a big deal, like, then what are you guys talking about? Like, where's the verbal warning? Like, what are you even talking about, right? Like, it was just all so weird, right? And it was at that moment, like, when things come against you and people come against you and you just can't understand why. Like, I can be a difficult personality to get along with sometimes because I'm very matter of fact. I'm pretty blunt. I say what I mean and I mean what I say. Some people can't handle that. I can come off bitchy to some people. What do I want to say? I mean, some people can read me wrong, basically, is what I'm saying. I can be read wrong sometimes. So sometimes it can happen, you know, but when there is no reason for it, like, this genuinely baffled me. Like, it was just, you know, and I even said that. I was like, we have had zero problems the whole time. Like, where is this coming from? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize I bothered you guys so much asking questions. I thought we were meant to figure out what we were doing. So me asking questions, I thought I was just being helpful to everybody, which was being validated because people kept thanking me for what I was doing. So honestly, at that point, I was going to walk out, but like, I stopped myself because I did need the job. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I didn't need the job. So I was like, wow, okay. I'm not going to be here long. Like, this is genuinely what energy does when it breaks down. Like, the energy will break down. People, you will not get along with the people there, and there will just be no reason why. It's an energy thing, right? So there was something within my energy that was pissing these people off, like, which seems to happen pretty frequently. And I have to just say that, you know, as an empath, as a high vibrational person, you're going to do that often. So I already know that some of y'all out there know what I'm talking about. It's just that people will be bothered by you and there will be no reason why. Like, genuinely, even though I can be pretty blunt sometimes, and sometimes I can be, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I just keep it real. And I respect people that keep it real too. So I treat people the way I would want to be treated, which is really. Like, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm going to be kind to you. But if there's something that needs to be said, I'm going to say it. And I'll give you the shirt off my back if you're a decent person. But also, if I got something to say, I'm going to say it. So, you know, some people can't handle that. And I'm used to that, and that's okay, you know what I mean? But sometimes there's just no reason for the energy to break down. And when it starts doing that, you just know that it's because you're meant to be somewhere different. And I genuinely know that. And it's so weird because right now as I'm driving, like, one of my signs is driving by me. Like, you guys have no idea. Like, oh, something amazing is going to happen to me. But so I knew, like, with all these signs that I wasn't meant to be there. Like, all the relationships started just breaking down there, and people just started basically, like, attacking me. And that's what happens when you got the light within you, okay? And I know that that sounds insane to some people, and some people probably think that that literally just sounds insane, right? Like I genuinely did nothing wrong there. Like, if anything, I did everything right. Like, that's what's wild. So when you're in those situations and you know that what's taking place is not like what's meant to be taking place, do you know what I mean? Like, based on what you're putting out there and based on what you're doing, just know it's because the universe has another plan. I know I wasn't meant to be there. I knew it wasn't a long-term situation for me. So the universe got me out of there really quick, okay? Like, real quick. Quicker than I would have liked, because honestly, the job was very good money and I could have used it. So, but God had other plans, and I'm going to roll with it. So that's what happened with the dispensary. I got fired for giving somebody oil, and I think that that was just a cherry. I think that that's basically just what they used. I'm pretty sure they were just, like, watching me to do any little thing wrong so they could get rid of me. Also, another thing I think is that I was being paid $4 more an hour than the other girls I worked with. And the reason I knew that is because I knew what they were starting people at, and I knew what I demanded when I started. So, like, I was only going to work for a certain amount. They were starting at a certain amount, and I told them I needed more, and we agreed upon that. So I was being paid $4 more an hour than the other girls were. So if they got rid of me, then they could hire someone else and pay them $4 less an hour. Do you feel me? So I kind of knew what was going on already. They basically kept me there, allowed me to teach everybody everything, teach them about cannabis, teach them about indica and sativa and hybrids and CBD and everything else, and then get rid of me, right? It's fine. It's cool. Because the Lord's on my side, and something way better is going to happen to me. But it was still just, like, pretty disheartening, you know what I'm saying? But I'm at my client's house now, and I wanted to just update you guys because I really wanted to get that story out there and let you know what happened. It's been, like, the weirdest 2 months of my life, and a struggle, too, because it wasn't easy, and my parents were so mad at me because they didn't understand. Do you feel me? Do you feel me? So I had to hurry up and scramble and get another job, and I'm back, you know, doing my elderly care, which is great that I have an STNA certification because you can really hop in and get a job anywhere, but also it's, like, it's really rough work. So it's not really what I want to be doing right now, but we're going to figure it out, and the Lord is on my side, and everything's going to make sense here real soon. So if anyone else is in the darkness right now, just know that the Lord is moving around some energy right now, and things are going to be real clear to you real soon. This is the time of the year for transitions, and you and I are going to grow back real soon here with all the springtime flowers. So just hang on a little bit longer, keep your head up, and things are going to get good real soon, I promise. I love y'all. I'll see you in the next video, okay? Peace and love, baby. Peace and love. It's the next morning. I have not washed my face. I look a mess. It's all right. But listen, I just rewatched that video, and I wanted to clarify a couple of things for you guys. So the whole situation between me and the manager, where he, like, chased after me and tried to, like, tell me to get in his office, and he low-key scared me. I did write a statement about that I had to provide to the vice president of the company, and they reprimanded him. So he did end up having to apologize to me for what happened. And the reason why, thank God, was because the security guy that I talked about witnessed the entire thing. So he witnessed the manager come out, tell me to call the employee. He witnessed him talk to me that way. He witnessed him tell me to lose the attitude, all of it. He was baffled. He apologized to me for the guy because he was so uncomfortable. Like, he didn't even know what to do. He had no idea why he would talk to me that way. So I did get an apology for that, and that was like a separate situation. And then a week or so later, or it was really about 4 days later, is when they fired me over the oil situation, which had actually happened like 3 weeks prior, but they had saw it on camera. So what I think is that they were watching, trying to find any more things that I was doing. Like, why didn't they just do it immediately, right? So that's what ended up happening. I did get an apology from that guy, which makes it so very clear that he was in the wrong, right? And he, you know what I mean? Which I'm sure he just felt so dumb having to apologize to me with that stupid smile on his face that he was just a shitty person. And so with that being said, I just want you to know that if you ever have an intuition about somebody and you feel like they're a shitty person, even though you don't really have a reason to feel that way, listen, your intuition is probably right. All right, I felt it about that guy the whole time. I was like, this guy's shady. I don't like him. But I don't have a reason to not like him. But I know that when I don't like somebody, there's a reason. So I was right. But he did have to apologize to me, and I got myself up out of there. So the Lord did me a favor. But I just wanted to clarify in case that was like a little bit confusing, because I realized that it kind of was. Yeah. It's a beautiful day. I got to be at work to do some stuff around 1. I don't think I have to work much longer than that, though, and I'm just going to enjoy this beautiful day. So I'm sending you all my love and all my vibes, and Lola's sending you some love and vibes. We woke up early this morning and decided to go on a ride since it's so beautiful out, and I like to do my like morning prayers and like just do my gratitude stuff in the car when I'm driving, because it's so beautiful to just look at all the trees and the sky and everything that's growing back, and I just love it. It makes me so happy, and all the trees are blooming, all the beautiful trees and the flowers. Like, it just makes me so happy. So like I said just a little bit ago in the other video before this one popped up, like this update, I said that we're all gonna grow back with the springtime flowers, and I want you to know that's happening right now, guys. You know, every year a part of us will die with wintertime. We are so linked with nature, and we'll die and we'll go into a hibernation, a stagnant period, like the trees and like the flowers and the grass, okay? Where it seems like we're not growing, okay? It seems like nothing's happening. But what's actually happening is we're gathering nutrients from the soil. We're gathering nutrients from our life. We're gathering knowledge. We're gathering things. We're growing on the inside, okay? And even though you don't see it on the outside just yet, you're going to, baby. It's going to start growing back. You're going to start flowering. You're blooming right now. Blooming. You blooming like a flower. Why did I think of a blooming onion? Blooming onions are so bomb. But anyway, you're blooming like a flower, not an onion. Or an onion, because they're bomb. Either one. All right, I love y'all. I'll see you in the next video, okay? The Lord has a plan for everything, baby. Don't you doubt that. You're in his plan, all right? Lose the resistance and just align with it. Just get with it. All right? It'll be the best decision you ever make, all right? Ain't nothing can stop me. Ain't no person, no thing, no bad circumstance. You wait and see where Elena end up. You wait and see. You gonna see it. I love y'all. See you in the next one.